here today to talk about Epic Games with BK Johannessen. I'm Max Miller, Senior Reporter for Broadcast Tech and Broadcast Sport. And BK, if you can tell a little bit about your role at Epic and
yeah, sure.
what you do.
So, well, first of all, thank you for having me here. My name is BK Johannessen, so I'm the Industry Manager for Broadcast and Live Events, which means I kind of have a responsibility for anything that we do within those industries. And that pretty much covers everything that is live, meaning it has to work. That one time, it has to work.
Yeah, and so is it, I guess Unreal has exploded into the area in recent years as well, so you've been a lot busier.
It's been quite a journey, to put it like that. Yes, I mean, we have, we put the product out essentially for anybody to use. It comes with a very generous license agreement that essentially means you don't have to pay for it either. So that has definitely gained some attraction. But we've seen a lot of creatives, both in broadcast and other industries, that look at the tool as a possibility for them to enhance the quality of what they do and produce better content essentially.
Mm-hmm. And I think in terms of that, we've got a few examples we can show people as well.
We gotta show some of the more recent stuff.
Yeah.
So roll the video, please.
We're able to.
I don't know about you, but I just smile whenever I see that video, and trust me, I see it a lot. It's amazing to see. We didn't do that. We made the technology underneath, but these are broadcasters and creatives out there that utilize some of the tools we made and create just amazing looking content with it.
And it has a huge breadth as well, being used across sport, music, virtual production, anything kind of thing.
And it goes way beyond that, right?
Yeah.
It goes way beyond. So it's used in architecture, it's used in simulation, it's used in automotive. I mean, we have now cars that have, their displays powered by Unreal Engine. So it's really kind of has a broad focus. And in some ways you can think of it like the Unreal Engine, the underlying technology, it comes from the game side, right? I mean, we use it ourselves to power our own games, such as, Fortnite. And when you make a game, it's hard to do so with a kind of very standardized, confined product. You need a very kind of open solution. So we look upon Unreal Engine and many of the other things that we do much more as a platform than as a dedicated tool for a specific task. And I think that's why it's grown into being able to support so many different use cases and many different industries. And I think that's where a lot of partners come in as well with specific knowledge about how it needs to work and solve some of the challenges around that for us and with us, and bring a lot of that that technology and that solution out to end users, both under commercial arrangement, but also you find a lot of people that are generously sharing what they've done with the rest of the ecosystem. So to me, one of the absolute strongest parts of Epic and Unreal is really that ecosystem, the ecosystem of partners and users that are very passionate about what they do is probably a little bit linked to the fact that it doesn't cost anything to use it. So maybe they feel that I got to give something back. And they do, right? They're really, really passionate. We have this amazing dev community, which, by the way, is a fantastic starting point if you're new to Unreal. You can, find a lot of material both from us and from others, about how to get started. You find a lot of tips and tricks. There are places you can ask questions, and you will find people that are super eager to provide, their insights and their knowledge.
Yeah, and so it's something, like you say, it's come from gaming originally, and now it's being used so much across TV and broadcast. So I guess how is it when someone comes to you and being like, oh, we want to use it for one of those many things we've just seen, and how do you tailor it for something that it wasn't originally, I guess, created for, kind of thing?
Well, we generally try to be cautious about what we know and what we don't know, right? So there's a lot of things we don't know, but if somebody comes to us and say, you know what, I think what you have is great, but it's lacking this and that. Part of the reason why we also distribute the source code of the entire product, and we encourage people to say, hey, look, if this tool, if this platform doesn't do exactly what you need it to do, enhance it. We do encourage people to enhance it, not necessarily by changing the internals of it. It's still okay and possible, but we know that creates friction in the future. The fact that we're a game development company means we move really fast. And that can sometimes mean that we break things, or we break the old things in order to create new things, which can be frustrating if you happen to depend on a specific type of functionality, and then next version we took it away. So we do encourage partners and creators to build, let's say, on top of. And that's been a transformation that we've gone through as that ecosystem of different use cases have grown, is we've gone much more aware of enabling people to build on top. So providing solid APIs and SDKs that allows them to build stable, custom solution for specific industries on top of our platform, rather than having to kind of go deep into our own source code and modify things. So I think we've come a long way, and I think that even here today at the show, you find a lot of examples, a lot of partners that have done exactly that. They've utilized the Unreal Engine with all its strength and powers, and we saw examples here showing, let's say, the fidelity you can achieve. It is a really, really high-performant 3D render. But building on top of that means that you can provide bespoke and more tailored solutions that also offer, let's say, operational efficiencies specific for broadcast or for film or what have you.
I see. And I've forgotten, as I always do, to mention there's going to be some audience questions at the end. So if you do have any, go to slido.com, type in hashtag MPTS 2023. And look at the Keynote theater, and they should come up on my phone, and I'll be able to ask some at the end. But no, getting back to that. Is there also, there's so many people working with Unreal, is it ever the case where you're surprised, I guess, someone comes to you and says, I've done this, I've created this thing, and you had no idea? It's honestly one of the reasons why we go to trade shows.
We generally never exhibit. Me personally think that we shouldn't, because I don't want any customers to perceive us as a traditional vendor. Meaning I can go to you, I can buy something from you, and I can expect you to do something for me. I have very limited resources, so I'm very bluntly honest with that. Yes, you can get our tools, but you probably can't ask me to come install it for you, or pick up the phone if you have a problem before your 9 p.m. newscast. So it's very important that we're honest about what you can expect from us and not. So therefore, we tend not to exhibit at industry trade shows, but we are here to support both the partner ecosystem we have and it's sort of an exploration for us. Every time we encounter some new thing, right?
Yeah.
The tool is out there. Anybody, all of you, can go download it today, and you can, develop something on top of that. And every time we go out, we find a new partner. We find some new, super innovative, smart way of using, our tech underneath, but for a specific use case.
And with a lot of those use cases, is it kind of trying to, engage younger audiences or bring in new interactivity and kind of what's out there?
I think there's they're trying to solve problems, right?
Yeah.
So why are we here? Well, we're here because we are entertaining the world. I personally mean that even if you're doing news, you are providing a sort of entertainment. But we're all in the same boat, essentially. We all have similar challenges, right? We have, a younger demographic that's really, really changing their media habits. And, it's harder to use the same formats to grab their attention. And I think there's, a general exploration phase that we're going through to figure out what is it that younger generation is looking for. And I think it's inspiring to see how it seems that the visuals are so important and they can be so impactful in almost a simple way to completely change kind of the format of content simply using visuals. So if we can play that video behind us here, there's one example I find super inspirational. And this is a collaboration that was done between CBS Sports and Nickelodeon. And this is an NFL match that happened on Christmas Day, I believe. It's called Nickmas. And it is broadcasted on CBS Sports as quote-unquote the adult version, but then it's simulcasted on Nickelodeon as the kids version. So it's the same content, if you will, right? It's the same match, but they're using a lot of visualizations, a lot of technology to, target a different demographic, and it works, right?
Yeah.
It really, really works. So, having a lot of augmented reality, having, Patrick, the Sea Star, as a commentator with, face tracking technology. It speaks to the younger audience, and they respond to it. So I think it's fascinating to see how we can, in a way, change the content that we make, targeting also a younger demographic without redoing everything, without having to change everything that we do, but being much more smart about how we package it and how that content is branded and communicated.
Okay, and that is a massive issue across TV and film at the moment, is getting younger audiences to watch.
It is. I mean, let's be honest. It's a pretty significant challenge we have. So we have to address it, and I think, we in a way we are addressing it, but we have to learn. We have to experiment, and we have to try things. And I think this is one example. There are several other examples that gives knowledge to us about what actually works and not. And by no means have we found the silver bullet that just works for everything. But I think we're onto something. I think that it is possible to do something without, again, having to do something very different, right? Like changing the rules of the game would be like the ultimate challenge. But I think we can get there. And, we're proud and humble to be a part of that, and hopefully an important part of that, where we can really kind of use game engine technology to both enhance a live broadcast, but also potentially bring that broadcast into a more immersive environment.
Yeah, and when it's being used, I guess, in an immersive way, it's naturally going to be more engaging for fans, for younger audiences, for any new audiences in general.
Absolutely. And I think that's kind of a little bit what's expected now is it's not only a sit-back experience, it's something where you can engage with it to some extent. So, and I think that's where interactivity comes in as a key component to it, and there is nothing more interactive than a game, and gaming engine technology is inherently built to be interactive. So I think it's hopefully a piece of technology that will keep growing in importance, also for live broadcast.
And I'm sure plenty of people are listening thinking, oh, sounds amazing, it's bringing in new people who I haven't had in my audience before, but how difficult is it to get it involved with your production, to add it to your broadcast and so on? What are the first steps people should take?
It's a great question, and the good thing is I'm not here to sell you anything. Even if I were, it'd be free, so I don't have to lie. Unreal is not a easy button that you can just hit and it looks amazing. Unreal is a tool that enables you to make amazing, so it's possible, but you still need talent. You still need time. So creating something of really high fidelity and really kind of good quality is still a time-consuming process. The difference is that it is possible to do so. It's definitely one of the areas that we are very focused on, right? We as a company, we kind of want to democratize, real-time 3D and interactive experiences. So for us, it's not all about the Unreal Engine either. It's also about the tools surrounding it. Like, we put a lot of efforts on our marketplace, a marketplace where it's possible for us to find assets rather than recreating things. If you need, a high, fidelity material, or you need a variation of them, you shouldn't have to recreate anything. If you need a model of a Formula One car or a tree, you should be able to find these things. If they don't exist, well then create it, but then share it with everyone else. Charge a penny for it or $1, and make your investment worthwhile. But let's create once and use many times is definitely something that we believe is critical in order for us to make it more affordable, to put it like that, to create much higher quality content. So it's very important for us to make sure that the tool is accessible, and we have a ton of material available that allows new users to come in, try the tool out, find training material, become part of the community so that they stay engaged, and we have a very kind of healthy growth and learning curve of that ecosystem. And that is probably, honestly, the biggest challenge we have today, and we as an industry, is we don't have enough talent. I do think that Unreal offers an ability to leverage talent from other industries, which is very uncommon, at least in broadcast. It was not very common. It was based on very kind of bespoke solutions that you only learned if you just so happened to work for a broadcaster. You never learned them in school. With Unreal, you can potentially hire from other industries because it's the same underlying tool set. I see a lot of broadcasters that are hiring from architecture because they want to create immersive, real-time looking environments. And they find that architects are amazing at lighting and seeing kind of the small details in how a shadow should appear. So I throw it out there. It's an opportunity to go and actually recruit from different industries, where I think personally that broadcast is the best industry. It's the most fun. It's super dynamic. So you guys have a lot to offer, but now you can also give them a job where they are using a tool that they want to use and love using.
Well, I'm sure everyone would love to hear that you think they're the best. But in terms of also, as well as taking from other industries, are you guys trying to train up people specifically for broadcast kind of thing and partnering with people on that front?
Yeah, Epic is in a way, very focused on being best at what we do. And that also means that we can't do everything. And for that reason, we are very partner-oriented. So we do leverage a lot of partners, both on technology solutions that are specific for certain industries, but also in terms of just being able to provide training or support or services in general. So we do work quite closely with both academic institutions, but also just professional training partners, and that's all they do is provide knowledge transfer, which is a skill in itself. So for us, it's important that training is accessible and it's of high quality. It enables essentially the people to apply those skills in a real world environment, and I think that's been working out quite well. And we were for too long, but now we've solved that. It was hard to find those partners. We've addressed that, and we've launched a portal now where it's at least possible for any broadcasters to go and find who can actually help me execute this, or who can we find in order to help us train our own staff. So there is a service partner portal that you'll find on unrealengine.com. So I encourage you to go check that out if you're in need for help.
Yeah, well, hopefully lots of people will be logging in. But and how are you finding? I guess with TV is one part of what Epic Games does, isn't it? So how much of a priority, I guess, when you're looking forward and new features coming in and so on, is TV being considered in that front as an important part of the product, I guess?
Oh no, well, I mean, you said it initially. It's gained a lot of momentum within live broadcast and live in general. We now have, music festivals that are powering their big LED stages with real-time content. So it's gaining a lot of attraction and a lot of momentum, and it's become a pretty significant part of what we consider to be our future. Yes, not quite the same as when we talk about virtual production. It offers slightly different advantages, still amazing advantages, but those productions are not inherently live. So you do have the opportunity, the ability to kind of redo, whether or not you do another shot, or you do some modifications, whether it's the scene or the camera angles, and you can retake these things. We don't have that luxury in live, right? In live, it's either perfect or not, but it's on air, and we can't take it back. And that actually caters really well to a inherently real-time solution. So it fits really, really well. So I think that we've seen so far very, very good adoption. We'll keep pushing and keep improving the product to do even better. We'll also be announcing some new developments that we're doing that are also making it a bit easier to use Unreal for more use cases. I mean, we saw on our little sizzle that the vast majority of use of Unreal today happens either augmented reality or virtual studios. That's where it shines, if you will. But because it is such an efficient render platform, even if you were to render out files that you would send around to various media servers, it still offers great benefits. And we do see a lot of people that are exploring how to use Unreal in kind of more traditionally non-live or using various DCCs. So for us, it's important to learn from that and see how we can potentially improve our tool set to make their lives easier and better and leverage more of the benefits of using real time.
And don't forget to get some questions in. We haven't had too many yet, so if you go to Slido and go hashtag MPTS 2023, you should have a couple of minutes, hopefully. But in that case, is it kind of a bit of an education on both sides then? If people obviously having to educate the industry and broadcast about its uses, but then also educate people who know about using Unreal, but not necessarily know about using it in a way where nothing can go wrong.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. So like I said, I think there's a lot of talent out there, but we might have to teach them about the ways of broadcast. I actually think in a way it's easier to do that than it is to go the other way around. I think that it's, we have our ways, and they're that way for a reason, to prevent things from going wrong too often. They still do happen, but I think that it's a great opportunity for us to, also question some of the things that we do, and again with the performance you can get today, it enables us to do things differently than what we did before. It also enables us to repurpose and leverage much more of the work that we put in potentially for the live broadcast side, also for other type of uses, including interactive experiences that you want to launch kind of adjacent or in parallel to the live productions. So I think there's a lot of potential efficiencies that we can gain from the fact that Unreal is a platform that caters to so many different, both current and future needs.
And where are you finding, I guess, the most use cases? Well, is it, sport is obviously well known for...
I think it's across the board.
Yeah.
I do think that sports in general tends to be a bit more, let's say, experimental. They're a little earlier movers, and they challenge themselves and push the boundaries of what can be done. They're also in some ways in a fortunate position. They generate a lot of data from the various sports. They have a lot of stories that can be told, a lot of analysis that they can do. So they've always in a way leveraged much more visualization. And I think I don't think that's unique for broadcast or anything. I think as every industry is always pushing for higher quality. For sure, in broadcast, we've seen a massive kind of demand, I would say, from the consumer side on increasing quality, and we have this enormous sea of options today, and low quality will not survive. It simply won't. So we have no choice but to provide what the viewer wants, which is high quality. But it is a challenge because we need to make more content than ever. We don't necessarily have more, funds than ever, and we need to increase the quality at the same time. So we definitely have to find, more efficient ways of working. We definitely need to find less expensive tools to use, and we need to have super talented people that can master those tools and produce great looking content.
And in terms of, one of the buzzwords here or another trade shows recently has been the use of AI in broadcast and so on. Have you seen that coming into people using for making graphics or to making virtual studios and so on? Or
I think it's early days. I think it will come, but I think we're still figuring out how do we actually make it valuable. How do we make it actually help us solve problems rather than create different problems? But absolutely, I think everybody is in a way blown away by what we see and what we now can experience ourselves, which is possible, and it's triggering ideas that we can experiment with, that we can try out, and we can figure out if it actually solves a problem or creates another one.
Yeah.
So I do think it's coming, but I think it's kind of early days, and I think that we're still gonna, even 10 years from now, you and me were sitting here, and we're still gonna need talented people. We're still gonna need super smart people that knows how to use the technology which is given to them.
Okay, well, sounds like we've got a first speaker booking for MPTS 2033.
Absolutely, yes.
And with that, though, I think we've just about run out of time, I'm afraid. I've been told we have to leave. So, but thank you for your time, and I hope everyone learnt a little bit about the use of Unreal and broadcast.
Absolutely. Thank you.